Hello everybody and welcome to the channel Crossing the Spiritual Streams. My name is Sandra and today we're going to do a Tarot Pick-a-Pile card reading for Taurus for the year 2021. What kind of general energies you can expect, what you might be dealing with, that kind of thing. And we do have 3 piles that you're going to be able to choose from because not every Taurus is the same. And so I like to think that maybe you might get some more specific answers by picking a specific pile. It's a good idea to go with your gut instinct, whichever pile is drawing you in the most, whichever one that says, yeah, that's my pile, that's the one I need to watch. You are welcome to watch more than one pile because sometimes people do get messages in more than one if they are drawn to watch more than one, so you can do that. These are actually for your sun, moon, and or rising sign. So it is possible too to also get extra messages if you go to the ones that correspond to your moon and rising signs as well as your sun sign. That way you might get some extra messages, especially if some of them overlap or correspond to each other. It might be the extra energy that you might be dealing with. And like I said, we have 3 different piles. Pile 1 here has the red stone. Pile 2 has a yellow stone with it, and pile 3 has a blue stone. And those are just to kind of maybe help you pick which pile you're most drawn to and that kind of thing. We will also be looking at charms with each reading as well as our oracle spheres to get answers to a specific question that you might have. So we're going to give you a moment or so to reflect on the piles, and there will be timestamps in the description to lead you to your pile. So we'll see you at your reading. Hello, Taurus Pile 1. Those of you that chose the red stone for the year 2021. Let's see what your general energies and what you might be dealing with are and what we're going with here. I have the Black Moon Astrology card first, and we also have the Tarot and the Charms and the Oracle Spheres. So I'm going to go ahead and read this first, and I'm going to look in the booklet because there's a lot of messages in the booklet, and I don't want you to miss out on something there. All right, number 31, 7th house partners. Okay, the 7th house is all about dealing with our partnerships and, marriage partners, business partners, all those kind of people. So let's see what the book has to say here about this. Marriage is neither heaven nor hell. It is simply purgatory. Abraham Lincoln. Okay. Bindings, whenever emotional and domestic or lawful and what is right or permissible are indicated now. The 7th house is the area of the chart that represents the other, since it is opposed of the 1st house of the self. Traditionally, it has been thought to be the house of marriage and marriage partners, and although this may still be the primary meaning, the other can also include friends and family and peer groups. So it can mean significant others, such as co-workers. Since it is a traditional house of Libra, it governs fairness, balance, and the law, and also the house of open enemies. When the 7th house card presents itself in a reading, it usually means one of 2 things. Either issues dealing with partners or significant others, or court cases and legal issues. The card itself is neutral, much like the actual 7th house, which strives for balance. So the surrounding cards will indicate the basic meaning, whether positive or negative or something in between. The Pisces or Neptune cards nearby would imply that a relationship could be slowly dissolving or fading, much like a shoreline with the sea erasing names written in the sand. Misinformation or lying could be a part of it. If the card is referring to a court case or legal issue, it's not a good time for that. The end result may not be what is hoped for, or is one that might drag on, again ending over time in a dissolving way with no real closure. The Scorpio or Pluto cards close by to the 7th house and would indicate power struggles, and even ruthlessness would figure in. There could be issues of domination and control with those two cards. This could apply to partnerships and legal rulings. The Venus or Libra cards nearby would sweeten this up a great deal. So along with the Sun card would be the most positive to have with this card. The Uranus or Aquarius cards close to this card could indicate dispassionate or odd partners, maybe even bisexual lovers, or those from an entirely different background, or a court case could get disrupted or have an unusual or totally unexpected result. The Taurus or Cancer cards surrounding the card would indicate a full heart blessing in your romantic or domestic partnerships. It could also denote coming out well in a financial or at least material way in a court case. On a mundane level, the 7th house card can mean an engagement, a marriage, or a relationship moving to the next level, as in a partnership becoming more settled and gaining maturity. It can also imply getting ready for a more serious relationship. In the case of dysfunctional or unhealthy relationships, you can look to surrounding cards to see how they will fare in the near future. The 7th house card in brief: others becoming more attractive to prospective mates, preening, flirting, committing to the love of your life, taking relationships to the next level, romantic and domestic partnerships, tying the knot, marriage, spouses, soulmates, duets, partnering, creating alliances, engagements, contractual relationships, long-term alliances, signing contracts, law, legalities, attorneys, legal help, court cases, justice, a fair outcome, negotiating agreements, co-workers, open enemies, becoming whole through others, codependence, cooperation, the reason behind a partnership, societal expectations, judgings, and weighing and balancing. The corresponding tarot card is Justice, and the key ideas are marriage, partners, true love, the other person, rivals, open enemies, courts, and lawsuits. Okay. Well, those messages definitely seemed to be that we'll have to see what the other cards are to really see what energies you might be dealing with, because it could be anywhere from marriage partners to other partners to court cases to other things. So I guess we're just going to have to look here and see what else we've got. All right, indecision. Okay, that's interesting. That's number 8. That's somebody trying to figure out which path to go in. And so once again, that might have to do with partnerships or other things. You might be deciding which way to go with that. So let's see what other cards we have. The Hanged One, the Three of Wands, the Five of Cups, the Seven of Swords. Okay, interesting. The Knight of Wands, the Three of Swords. Huh. Okay. The Ace of Pentacles, the Sun card, the High Priest, the Nine of Cups, the Three of Pentacles. That is definitely interesting. And the Eight of Wands. Okay. This specifically said something about the Sun card, and I want to look at that just real quickly. But I also have some other ideas here with some other things I'm seeing. Sorry guys, having some trouble here. Might not even seeing it here. I know I read it. Okay, well, I don't want to take any more time looking at that because I've got my own ideas on what I'm seeing here with this other stuff coming to me anyway. Okay, first of all, it's interesting that you have 3 different 3 cards. The 3s, to me, can mean different things, but generally, in this specific reading especially, they have to do a lot with, it's interesting too how it's all 3 of the 3s that don't deal with specifically with other people. Because threes would be like a group type mentality, right? A coming together and that kind of thing. But with the Three of Swords, it usually means some sort of heartache. This Three of Pentacles shows being hard at work, but they're alone, but they also might be in an apprenticeship. And then this Three of Wands is, almost getting ready to go out on a journey or contemplating something. So that's kind of interesting with some of the other cards that we have going here. I think you guys are definitely going to be dealing with some things with your relationships. They might get kind of rocky this year. You might be deciding what to do about certain relationships. You might be deciding, okay, should I go one way or the other? Because it's interesting how we have the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Wands, okay? The Seven of Swords is kind of taking off with some stuff and taking what you can and getting away. And the Eight of Wands is shooting ideas out into the universe or things coming out very quickly and shooting stuff. So I got a feeling that with the indecision card, we have the Five of Cups too, which is showing that you might, lose something. You might, and we've got the Hanged One. So once again, you're deciding things. I really kind of think this definitely has to do with some kind of relationship in your life that you're going to be dealing with. It could be work related. It could be matters of the heart. Somebody you're very close to that way because of some of the other cards that are here. Even the Sun card has, two people together looking at the sun. So, and the Ace of Pentacles is showing a garden gate and walking through it and having a new outlook on things. So I really kind of see here where you're going to be making a decision. We have the Hanged One and the indecision. It's going to be a decision on somebody in your life, some sort of relationship in your life. Probably romantic relationship, your partner in that regard. More than likely, you're going to be making some decisions about that this year. You're going to be deciding which way you want to go and how you want to go about doing things. Maybe you're already in that energy already. I kind of feel like that's probably the case. And I'm thinking that you're deciding, okay, I'm not sure how you're going to decide this, but a lot of the cards indicate that several of you are going to decide to go ahead and move away from this thing. And it might even be a sudden decision. It might be something you're thinking about for a while before you make the decision. But I get the feeling that once you make it, you're going to make your getaway and you're just going to go with it. It's going to be painful, it's going to be hurtful, but it's going to put you on a new path and a new journey. And that's where I think the Knight of Wands and the Sun card and the High Priest and the Nine of Cups kind of come in. I feel like once you get through this decision that you're working on, or once you get through these problems or other things that you're doing, you're going to embark on a new journey. You're going to look for other things, and the Eight of Wands, new things going out into the universe, new ideas, new thoughts, new direction. It's interesting how we're showing a lot of contemplation out at the sea, and deciding to maybe move forward and just go with it. We have a couple of cards that are showing that with the Three of Wands and stuff. And so I almost get, okay, yeah, this might be a really hard decision for you. It might be something that you're going to have to dwell on for a while. You might even have to try to think of the best way to do things or how to go about doing this. But I really feel like a lot of you are going to decide to go ahead and leave this relationship. And that you're going to move forward. You're going to move on. For those of you who don't make that decision, who don't go there, or if the relationship doesn't end on its own accord, because that is possible as well, if you decide to stick out the relationship and go that direction with things, because that's in your heartfelt mind after your meditation, after your thoughtfulness, after you're going through, I think that you might find ways to work through some of the problems and the other things to get to a better way if you choose to go that route, but only if that feels right for you, because I don't think that message is for a lot of you. I think most of you, it will be right, or you're going to choose to leave, and that will be the better choice. But if for some reason you feel like there's something worth salvaging here, okay, and that it's worth moving forward, it's worth moving on, that once you make that decision, I think you can come up with some really good ideas and some other stuff to help it move forward and make it be a sun time again for those of you that are going to make that route. Because the high priest, once again, it's another decision-making thing. You guys are going to have to make this decision. You're going to spend some time on it this year. It's going to be a big part of your life. It might happen early on in the year, the decision that you make, but then it will hover over your life, the decision that you've made for the rest of the year. It will be an energy that you're going to be dealing with. Either you're going to be putting the relationship back together and doing things with it, or you're going to be putting your life back together after you leave. And after you make that decision. So it's going to be something that is going to play a big role in your life this year. And I don't necessarily see it as being a bad thing. I think it's going to be hurtful if you choose to leave. It is going to be heartbreaking for you because, this was something that really meant a lot to you. But if you make that decision, it will be the best one for you. If you choose to go that route, and you will have some things to celebrate because of that, with the Nine of Cups here. But yeah, we definitely have some decision making to make. There's just so many cards that are showing that, and you need to decide what your best path is, and to move forward. So you're definitely going to be dealing with deciding on the best way to go about, and it is another relationship. And like I said, I do think for most of you it is a love relationship, or that type of energy involved with it. Let's go ahead and move on to the charms and see if we have any other clarifying messages or any other things that might be helpful to you with this. And then we also have our Oracle Sphere questions, where you can be thinking of a yes or no type of question. So not a question with an open-ended answer, but one that has more of a definitive type of answer at the end of it. And it could deal with this reading specifically, or your year in general. It could be something that you've been wondering about or wanting an answer to, and we'll get to those in a second. And then we're also going to go ahead and do our charms. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull our charms and see what other energies we might be dealing with, or some other information that might come through. Ooh, that's a lot of them. Okay, let's pull out our letters first. Let's see where we're going here. All right, we have an O, a G, a B, a P, an I, a C, and a V. Okay. The only thing that jumped out at me when I saw the G-O-B, I know there's not two O's or other letters there, but I instantly thought goodbye. And I think the reason why I probably thought that was probably because the energies of the reading so far and what's going on is you might be saying goodbye to something there. So that was just, something. But those letters could also mean something specifically to you. They might be your initials. They might be, you might be able to come up with words there that are helpful to you, or something that might mean something to you. So the letters are G-O-B, P-V-C-I. And so you can come up with some stuff there. If you come up with something good, you can put it in the comment section in case it's helpful to other people. Okay, we also have the Jack of Clubs and the Jack of Hearts. And the Jacks I always kind of see as either the Knights or the Pages. In this case, I think it's a Knight, because we also have the Knight of Wands. And the clubs are the wands cards. So I think that, you know, and I did not talk about that earlier. So I think that kind of showed up for that. But we also have the Jack of Hearts, which deals with our emotions and other things. And by being um, the knights are the ones that go out and fight, and they go out and take care of things for us. Um, you know, if we have battles to wage or other things like that, they kind of do that. And the Knight of Wands is very courageous. He's kind of the hero. He's also the free spirit and very hot tempered. Um, and then we also have the Knight of Cups, who's kind of the Prince Charming type of character, and other things. And so either these could be characters that show up in your life. You know, these could be people that you run across, or it could be you, maybe summoning up the courage to leave, or uh, you know, that kind of thing, becoming, you know, your own free spirit or whatever. Both of these knights are very charming and whatever, and maybe the person you're with has kind of enchanted you and charmed you, and so maybe that's, you know, representative of them, that kind of thing. So we can go with that there as well. Also with the Wands cards deal a lot with our things that we're passionate about and fiery about, and those kinds of energies. And it's also creative energies too. So some of you guys might kind of come up with creative solutions or creative ideas, because we also have the other wand card, the Eight of Wands, shooting out there. And there is some other creative energies I'm kind of seeing here in some of these other charms as well. So that's possible that that's something that you're going to be dealing with. Okay, let's see. Now I'm getting some other messages here. First of all, we have Imagine and Fearless. It's important for you guys to be fearless this year. And that kind of goes along with the Jacks we were talking about here, with being courageous. And then we also have Imagine. Imagine what your life could be like. Imagine what you can have. Imagine what you can do. And that also goes along with the creative energy that we have here too. That's very important. We do have a heart here that says Made with Love. And we also have another thing here that says Love and Peace. So definitely love matters are going to focus a lot on this. Well, it's interesting too how we have a lot of things that represent the sea or underground. We have the octopus, we have the seahorse, we have the shell with the pearl, and we have the anchor. And whenever, with all those together, I kind of think of hidden depths, things that are hidden beneath the surface, things that we're unsure of, unclear about, reaching, you know, exploring new things, new stuff, and that might be something that you might be dealing with. Also, with the anchor, that often can mean stability and that kind of thing, because if you put an anchor down, it holds it in place. It helps with the rocky seas not, you know, just drift off away. But sometimes when I see the anchor as well, I feel like things being anchored down or held down, and can't move. So that might be an energy that you guys are dealing with too, because if you are in a relationship that's really hard or really difficult, that might be something. And it is interesting too how, like I said, these cards, you know, looking out over, you know, the water. So I think emotions are definitely important here, but also your intuition and hidden depths are very, very important here as well. And it's interesting how we have this seashell with the pearl in it. So by exploring those inner depths and doing those things, I think you can find your special pearls. You can find these special things that you did not know were available to you. We also have the Sun and Moon, which is another intuition type of card. It's also, the moon deals a lot with our emotions and the hidden things, and then the sun shines light on things. And And so you're going to be dealing a lot with, like I said, it kind of goes along with that indecision thing, you know, one thing or the other. Now, I also had a message come here just a little bit. Some of you guys, there might be some of you that won't choose to leave a relationship, but that maybe your partner might leave by passing away. I wouldn't normally say that, but it kind of came to me because of this charm that came through and showing the heartbreak. And then I think of, you know, somebody looking out over, you know, contemplating on these cards here, and that might be something you would do if you lose somebody that way. And so if you're not dealing with a decision, if you didn't have much choice in the matter and they passed away, then, you know, that might be an energy a few of you will be dealing with this year. And the reason why is I got the winged heart here, and that often to me symbolizes a message from passed on loved ones or other things. So that is possible that a few of you will be dealing with that. I even kind of got this message, and I hate to say things like this sometimes, but I feel like I need to when they come up, because I just feel like it's a message that has to get out there. There might even be a few of you dealing with somebody that might be on life support, and you are deciding whether or not to stop the life support or not because they're not here anymore. And that might be the indecision or the thing that you have to decide to do. And so that for very few of you, I think that that's a specific message. And those of you that that pertains to, you'll know about it because I think you're already in that situation. You're already trying to contemplate that, and that will be something. I don't think it's something that'll come up later in the year, although that's possible too. Okay. So for those of you that have to deal with that, I just wanted to say I'm very, very, very sorry, because I just am. I'm very sorry that you have to go through that, and I hope that you'll be able to make the best decision, and that you'll be able to work through that in time. Okay? All right. For the rest of you and the rest of the reading here, we do have the dragon spirit, which is once again that fiery spirit, and that is dealing with passion and creativity and that kind of thing. So you might move towards something that you're passionate about, care about, very fiery about. Those kind of emotions, you know, are going to come up. We also have more creative things with the musical symbols here as well. So some of you might move into a more creative mode this year. You might be dealing with your creativity and that kind of thing. We also have the dragonfly and the owl. And both of those, to me, owls make decisions. And I think that that has a lot to do with the decisions you might have to make. And then the dragonflies too kind of have some of that energy involved in them. I'm also kind of seeing the fiery spirit too, because when I think of dragonflies, even though they're not a fiery type of thing, I'm thinking of that. That's just kind of what came to my head when I think of that. They're also very dragonflies also kind of symbolize a lot of dealing with it's wisdom. It has a lot to do with wisdom, and so does the owl. So I think you're going to definitely use some wisdom or gain some wisdom this year with that. We also have the diamond, and I can see maybe a diamond in the rough. Sometimes when I see that, I see that maybe you guys, if you do embark on this journey or make this decision to go out on your own, you're just starting out being able to cut your diamond. You're just starting out to see your full potential. You're just starting out to see what your life could be. We also have the key, and the key just shows that you have the key to your happiness and to the right way, and to, you know, the doorway of where you need to walk through and where you need to go. You have the key to open that door. Okay? All right, let's go on to our oracle spheres here. We have 4 different stands that you can choose from that your answer will come on. I like to do that so that we have an opportunity to have different answers for different people. So we have 1 green, 2 yellow, 3 blue, 4 red. And we'll see what answers we get for each one. All right, our green, the first answer is no. Our yellow, our answer is probable. And 3 blue, our answer is yes. And 4 red, our answer is not likely. So lots of different answers going on there, so depending on what your question was. Okay, guys, that's the answers we have for that. I hope that you had some informative insight from this reading. I know it was kind of a tough reading to hear. These readings are always tough for me to do as well, but just know that I can kind of see that whatever decision that you make will be a good one for your life. And so just know that even though the decision will be hard to make, that it will be good for you in the long run, or it will be something that's important. Okay, so do know that. Hey, if you guys feel inclined to do so, please share this video with your friends and family. Share the channel with them. Put it out on all the different social medias. If you felt like we gave some value to you, please subscribe to the channel. And that way you can be notified of future videos. Or check out our other videos on the channel. We have lots of different timeless tarot readings out there on different topics that might be of use to you. All of these things help the channel grow, and it's greatly appreciated by us. We are not monetized through YouTube, and we are trying desperately to grow the channel. And any of those things that you can do for us, if you hit the like button, if you leave comments, if you share the video, subscribe to the channel, all those things help us, and we appreciate it greatly. Also, checking out the other videos might be useful to us and you as well. We do have other videos out there on how to read tarot cards, and also on the flip through of the different card decks so that you can see what the different cards look like. So if you'd like to check those out, we would appreciate that as well. Okay, guys, we look forward to seeing you in future videos, and may the stars guide your path. Bye-bye. Hello, Pile 2 Taurus, those of you that chose the Yellowstone. Let's get some idea of what energies and things you might be dealing with this year. First of all, we have the astrology, Black Moon astrology card that I'm going to look at and read out of the booklet for, because there's lots of different messages in the booklet, and I don't want you to miss out on something there. Then we have our tarot cards that will help clarify things. We have our charms and our oracle spheres where you can be asking a question. So let's look at this one first and see where we're at. Lunar eclipse change, number 43. Okay, let's see what the book has to say about that specific card. Okay. 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Attributed to the Buddha. A lunar eclipse takes place when the earth is directly aligned between the sun and the moon. The earth blocks out the sun's light, causing the moon to be in the earth's shadow. This can only happen during a full moon, and while a solar eclipse lasts only for minutes, the lunar eclipse lasts for hours. Ancient peoples were extremely frightened by eclipses because they believed a great serpent was taking bites out of the sun and moon. Eclipses can bring on times which seem shadowy and disoriented, but they are not necessarily bad and should not be viewed as such. We are meant to be thrown off balance to make necessary changes. It is a time of seeing the light and focusing on something you have either put off or didn't exactly notice was coming up. When the lunar eclipse card presents itself in a reading, dramatic changes are in store. Such changes will likely be unexpected ones, the kind that might seem hard or will take some special effort on your part. These will not be gradual, easy, barely noticed transformations. Your world may be rattled somewhat. It will seem more like a revolution. Do not be alarmed, however, because this altering of your life is essential in getting you where you need to be. We are all here to share our gifts and lead others to theirs. It is never an easy path. Any number of things might happen: the ending or beginning of a transformative relationship, a change in life's path or a job, or a change in where you live. Whatever it may be, it will be abrupt. Lunar eclipses herald times of a new way of looking at things. That is why they can even bring on changes in eyeglass or contact lens prescriptions, or, if you are lucky, a marked improvement in your eyesight. The moon also has a connection to the brain, thus you may find yourself more in tune with unseen energies or experience moments of revelation. Whatever the issue, it has been brewing for a while and things are about to bubble over. It could be a partner or would-be partner who wishes to take a relationship to a new level. Since the moon symbolizes our emotions, you probably already sense what this change could be and will not be completely surprised by it. But the forced and dramatic nature of the shift may be unexpected. Expect to be thrown off balance. If the situation is something you have taken for granted and it collapses, then you will need to make a new start. In any event, you should start to see these effects within the next 6 weeks and expect for an outcome to be completed within 6 months. This card also indicates cycles, and whatever seems lost at this time, you can be assured will return to you, perhaps in a different form, but most certainly better. Lunar eclipse card in brief: shifts, cycles, things brought out into the open, changes, perhaps radical, transformation, sometimes through crisis, but for the best, diverging paths, getting hit by a curveball when challenges turn up, relationships that deepen, transform, or end, feeling disoriented, not being sure of having made the correct choice, big purchases, a new home, or change of residence in relation to a plan or goal, endings, exposure, sacrificing things and giving up old habits, sudden awareness or enlightenment, possible medical operations, changes in eyeglass and contact lens prescriptions, strange, puzzling dreams, getting and receiving messages of divine nature, taking a calm, active approach to sudden developments. The corresponding tarot card is the Five of Cups. The key idea is inevitable change, bringing in the new, memory disillusion. Okay, so I think we can expect a change this year for sure. All right, let's see what other energies we've got going here. We've got happy family number 4. That's interesting because the 4 energy definitely deals with our home life and so forth. So the change of residence might be the case for some of you. And that might, cause a happy family, but that's a good card in of itself. We like that. All right, let's see what else we have here. We have the Two of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, the Chariot. Okay, definitely a change moving forward. The Nine of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the Lovers, the Queen of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups, again, which goes along with the Happy Family card, and then the King of Wands. Okay, wow, interesting. Well, with the Happy Family and the Ten of Cups cards here, I kind of see whatever change is going to happen, whatever direct, huge change, I think it might have to do with your job, home. I think maybe several of you might be moving because you get a new job. The Chariot card definitely shows movement towards something else, moving from one thing to another. We do have the Two of Swords energy here, which generally means a decision of some sort needs to be made. So you guys might be making a decision. It's possible some of you guys might be getting married this year. That might have to do with the Happy Family card and the Lovers card. So it's possible that somebody would be proposing marriage, and then you might, get together and do that kind of thing. Because, we're showing presents here with children involved. It might even be a blended family. It might be, that you're going to come together with that. And for others of you, like I said, I think it might be job related. We do have lots of Pentacle cards here, but also Pentacles do deal with our finances. They do deal with that kind of thing. So maybe some major changes in your finances might come up. And like I said, a new job is definitely something that I'm getting for a lot of you guys. And moving to a new home, or if you get married, you might move to a new home because of that. But the new job opportunity, I think, might be one that it might be a big upheaval in your life, but I think, in the long run, and like the card, lunar eclipse card said, it definitely should, be a good outcome for you guys. So that's really cool and really good. We do have some wands cards here, and wands cards a lot of times deal with things that we're passionate about, things that we care about, and also our creativity. So you guys might, with the King and Queen of Wands here and the Nine, it's interesting. The Nine of Wands is kind of a protection card, but I also see with this particular Nine of Wands a contemplation kind of card. It kind of goes along with the Two of Swords. I think you guys are contemplating a big move, a big change, a big, whatever, and you're trying to decide if this would be a good thing for you or not. Okay. And I kind of see that with this card a lot. And so I think that's something you're contemplating it deeply, but I almost see that you've already made the decision, that you already know you're going to do this. It's just you're really scared because it is such a big change. Like I said, you might be moving across the country. You might be moving to a new location. It's a totally new job for you. It's something, totally different. It's crazy scary. And you're just like, whoa, I don't know if I should uproot my family like this and make this big change or whatever. But I think you guys have probably already made this decision. I think you've already done that. We do have the King and Queen. And with the Lover card here together and the Happy Family, I almost see this as being you and your partner together, because you have both of the energies of the universe working together with what you care about, what you're passionate about, what matters to you. This fiery, passionate energy going on here. And we're having the King and Queen both together. I kind of see that as a partnership. And that might be, like I said, for some of you, that might mean that marriage thing coming on. So it's kind of different energies for different ones of you of what this might pertain to. And it might even pertain to all of it. You might be getting married and going on a new job and moving into a new house. You might be doing all of those things, which definitely would be an upheaval to your life for sure. And so that's even possible for some of you. But there's definitely big changes afoot going on here, and definitely big things. By being the King and Queen of Wands, they're very confident, they're determined, they have a lot of charisma, they're very optimistic. They make bold, daring decisions. They have leadership roles. They have vision. They can see the big picture. And so I think this kind of energy is kind of playing out for you as well. They can help you make these big, bold decisions and go on. But like I was mentioning earlier with the Pentacle cards, that deals with our earthly things that deal with earth. It deals with our finances, earthly matters, our body, our health, our business decisions, and other things like that. And that was why I felt like it might be a job related for several of you, because she's hard at work. But we also have the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. And the Nine is a little bit more of an intuitive energy, a little bit more of taking your intuition to the next level, or doing. And the Wands energy is also very creative. So I think with those two energies going together, that might be something that would be very useful during this time frame. And it's interesting how we also have the Ace of Swords. And the Swords card, the Ace of Swords is knowledge and power and new ideas and fresh ideas and being able to see through illusions and those kinds of things. So the Two of Pentacles is kind of a clouded energy, kind of a contemplative energy, deciding energy. But then the Ace of Swords is very much being able to cut through things and going through things. So I think you guys have that ability here. You guys have that ability to cut through any kind of things that are clouding your judgment, clouding your thinking, muddling things up. I think you can cut through that here. And I love with the Happy Family and the Ten of Cups cards there together. I think it just shows that emotionally wise, this should be a very good decision for you. Very, very good upheaval. Something that will just make you very, very happy. It's going to really, really upset the apple cart. It's going to really change your life. It's going to really turn it upside down. But in the long run, you're just going to be much better and greater for it. And so, in the card, the lunar eclipse card kind of said that as well. So I like that. I like that a lot. I'm also thinking, I haven't said this in most of my readings, but for this particular one, I think you should go out and look at what 43 means in angel numbers. I think for a few of you that might have a special message for you. So if you feel compelled to do that, just go out on the internet, type in angel number 43 and see what you can get from that. I can tell you a little bit about just the individual numbers 4 and 3 right off the bat. 4 is, once again, the family, the home, dealing with that. And 3 is dealing with your creative energies and your community and community groups and also celebratory things as well. So that kind of goes along with the thing. But 43 specifically also has specific meanings. And so if you go out and look at that, I think that might be useful for a few of you. So if you feel compelled, then go ahead and do that. Okay, let's go ahead and look at our charms and see if we have any other clarifying messages or any other advice or things that we might get from those. And we also have our oracle sphere, so you can be thinking of a yes or no type of question that you want an answer to. It could be pertaining to this reading. It could be something you've just been thinking about or kind of wanting an answer to. Something that might, help you with your decision maybe, or, anything. It could be anything that you just kind of want a quick answer to, you can be thinking of doing. But we're going to go ahead and do our charms first. Okay, so let's see what kind of messages you might have in the charms today. Okay, all right. Wow. Okay, first of all, let's look at our letters, because that's always kind of useful, or can be. We have an M, a D, a C, an A, a J, E, H, and a Y. Well, the first thing I saw here was mad. Which to me made me think of, somebody might think you're absolutely crazy for doing something, and it's not crazy, okay? So if it's something that people think, oh my gosh, you're really crazy to do that. Nope, I don't think it is. So there you go. Otherwise, there could be a lot of other words here that you might come up with. I'm going to go ahead and say the letters out to you again, because I know they're a little hard to see. And then you can go through, write them down, figure out, oh, we got an escape charm here. But I think that, you might be able to come up with some good words or some other things that mean something to you. Also, if you come up with some good words, put them in the description. It might help some other people as well. But the letters are M, A, D, C, J, E, H, and Y. Okay? So those might be useful there. Now, let's see. We also have a tarot card here. It's the 5 of Diamonds. Once again, a change card. The 5 of Pentacles. 5 definitely means some change and some other stuff going on. But once again, it might deal with your finances and other things, being the Pentacle card there. Sometimes the 5 of Pentacles often shows, people down on their luck and, kind of going in front of church, maybe begging and whatnot. That's quite often the symbol for the 5 of Pentacles cards. And maybe you guys have had some hard times, and maybe that's why you're, maybe going on to this new job offer or other things like that. So that might be the energy going on for some of you guys. Okay, now let's see what else we have here that is got some useful stuff. Okay, wow. First of all, I kind of see this as a magical time for you. It's interesting. I have a butterfly, and I always think of a butterfly going out and spreading its wings, and going from a caterpillar to a butterfly, and just going out and just, being its best self. So I kind of see that, and I like that. But we also have Rudolph, which kind of a symbol of Christmas. We have the Mickey hand, which is kind of make-believe, animated, whatever, also creativity as well. And then we also have the rainbow, cloud thing. So all of that, I just kind of see, the rainbow goes along with those rainbows, but it's also, a magical time for you. I just see this as being, it could be a very creative time, with the Mickey hands there. It could be just, I just see it as very magical. Just, a wonderful magical time. I also see we have some good mental thought energies here. We have the fox, which is very cunning, very smart, and we also have the elephant, which is also a very intelligent animal, and all that. And so I think that some intelligence, is playing out here. Some good decisions is what I'm getting from that for sure. We also have the heart kitty, which in this case, I just see it as being fulfilling in your family, because our animals, our pets, are kind of like our fur babies, as some people call them, or our children almost. So I just see kind of a happiness surrounding your home life here. We also have the tennis shoe, which I just see as kind of maybe going on a journey, maybe traveling, maybe going somewhere, because that denotes movement, okay? And then we also have the comb and the ribbon here. The ribbons often denote cheering somebody on from hardships and problems that they had, and it might even go along with this Five of Diamonds here a little bit. But usually, they might be for cancer survivors or for people coming back from war or other things like that. So it's basically a good hopeful sign of you have been able to come back from the trials and tribulations that you've been dealing with. And then we have the comb, which I see as kind of a grooming thing, kind of feeling confident and good about yourself. Also, sometimes I get an older feeling of people that would sit in front of very opulent mirrors and other things, and have these special combs and brushes and things that they laid out on these trays. And so I see it as, a financial boon, because you're able to have, fancy things like combs and stuff like that, even though nowadays combs, aren't that much. But it's just kind of something that comes to mind for me when I think of that. It's the historian in me, I think, that pops out there. Okay, let us go on to our Oracle Sphere questions. Basically, we have 4 different stands here to choose from that you will want your answer to appear on. We have 1 yellow, 2 green, 3 red, and 4 blue. And be thinking of your question, and we'll get our answers. All right, number 1, yellow. Oof, I can get it out of here. Is a not now. Number 2, green, is a not sure. Okay, so it's not now. That just means that time isn't right at the moment, that some things might need to play out or change or be a little different before that can happen, whatever your question was about. The not sure means that things need to play out before an answer can be given, because depending on how certain things happen might affect an outcome, or it might mean that the question wasn't real clear and so it was hard to get an answer. Number 3, red, is a yes. And number 4, blue, is a not likely. Okay, so we have a not now, not sure, yes, and not likely. So those are our answers to our question here. I hope you guys had some good information come from this reading. I hope you liked the video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave comments in the comment section. Share this video and the channel with your friends and family. Put it out there on all the different social medias that you can think of. We are not monetized through YouTube, and this will help the channel grow, and it is greatly appreciated by us, and we very much love for you guys to do that. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so you can be notified of future videos. Also, check out our other videos on the channel. We have timeless tarot readings out there that are on lots of different topics, and so some of those might be of interest to you. We also have videos on how to read tarot cards, and videos of flip-throughs of the different card decks. And coming up in the future, relatively near future, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we're going to start doing rune numerology readings combined that might also be of interest to you as well. So make sure you subscribe so you can be notified when those come out. All right, guys, we look forward to seeing you in future videos, and may the stars guide your path. Bye-bye. Hello, Pile 3, and welcome to your reading. Those of you that chose the blue stone here. We have our Black Moon astrology card here that I'm going to look at and read out of the book here so you guys can get all of the messages from that, because there's a lot in there. And then we also have the tarot cards, which will help clarify things. We're going to do our charms and our oracle spheres later, so you can be thinking of a question. But let's go ahead and look at our astrology card first. We got number 47, Grand Cross Provoker. All right, let's see what the booklet has to say about that card specifically. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Helen Keller. Okay. The Grand Cross is an area of tension in a chart, thus becoming a great catalyst for movement and change. Wow, you guys, all three of the readings for Taurus showed lots of changes this year, lots of movement. A rare astrological configuration, the Grand Cross, also called the Grand Square, occurs when four planets form a perfect cross in the skies. These planets are around 90 degrees from each other, meaning there are four planetary squares, 90 degrees apart, and two planetary oppositions, 180 degrees apart. Squares in the astrological chart cause tension and restriction. Oppositions as well are seldom soft aspects. They come with the pressure to grow and the will to exceed any limitations put in one's path. But the Grand Cross is the most rare and intense of all. In mythology, this alignment represents the four directions. The Grand Cross, also called the Cosmic Cross, is symbolic of the four seasons, equinoxes, and solstices, as well as the cross-quarter days, indicating a period of time when your life may seem at cross purposes. Usually when a Grand Cross occurs, it indicates a crisis, yet through this calamity will be the painful process of growth, then renewal, and eventually a greater foundation for happiness and success. Strangely, it is almost as if the planetary energies are in competition with each other. This may be a rather exasperating time where you feel provoked and frustrated over booby traps that seem to have been set in your way. It's as if everything is working at cross purposes. You feel pulled in many directions. Such false leads and failed plans may leave you unable to produce concrete achievements. An area to look at when the Grand Cross card comes up is how you communicate. Are you communicating as well as you should? Are you abandoning a worthy project the minute it loses its shine in an effort to capture a larger, glossier prize? But more simply, in your effort to accomplish more, are you juggling balls in the air? Do you notice as you juggle, if you are stuck in the same spot, that not much has been achieved? When this card presents itself in a reading, it suggests there are multiple talents you are able to access, as well as numerous paths you can take. Focus and organization are key. Until this matter phases out, expect resistance, since opposition is the main energy field of the Grand Cross. Once on track, the momentum towards the attainment of what you desire will be impossible to stop. It mainly has to do with the shifting of energy and switching into gear. In regards to relationships or love, they will have a faded quality. You will not want to let go of a person no matter how hard it gets. There will be a sacrifice and compromise with this relationship, and it will be one where you will want to bump your head against as many walls that seem to fly out of nowhere. You are being challenged, and if you do not weather it out and see what the future brings, you will likely always regret letting this relationship go. If the question is about business or career, know that it will happen, but it will be hard. You have to be willing to walk the miles. Diligence will be required. What is possible about the Grand Cross card is you are becoming more realistic and focused. You won't be attracted so much by the glitz and glitter, but looking more towards stability and long-lasting success. A good thing to remember is that it's best not to fight the hard lessons at this time. In fact, this is a period where you need to take stock of all that has brought you to this place. It is time to draw upon your own strength. In doing so, you will move from uncertainty into a place of peace and contentment. Grand Cross card in brief. Frustrations, being overwhelmed by the reality of situations, balancing things out, analysis paralysis, unreadiness to move or act, the mulling over of matters, building a foundation, keeping an eye on the prize, identity crisis, focusing on self, self-worth, initiation, needing to act, poverty, the need to scavenge, hard luck, not being given a break, direction, focus, earning trust, implementing change, the need to be more flexible, encountering resistance, time for healing, time for reasoning, feeling hurt, victimization, feeling misunderstood, a realistic look at the future, going through the motions, an unfavorable time to act on impulse. The corresponding tarot card is the Nine of Wands. The key ideas are pressure, discipline, frustration, growth, defensiveness, competition, and victory. Okay, wow. That sounds like we have a lot going on. All right, let's look at our tarot and see what we might get a little bit more insight on here. Hostilities, number 26. Okay, I think it's clear based on these two cards just right off the bat that you guys are going to be dealing with some roadblocks, some, maybe, people being hostile towards you or blocking your way or throwing up things, and kind of stopping you for a while. But I think, based on the cards that we're talking about, you are going to be able to get through this, okay? All right, we have the Death card, which, shows big change. We have the Five of Wands, once again, conflict. The Chariot card shows movement. The King of Cups. Okay, that's good. Five of Wands again. So, got that over here. We've got that doubled up. That usually just means extra intense energies that way. The Page of Pentacles. Okay, good, good. The Six of Pentacles. The Hanged One. The Knight of Cups. The Emperor. The Four of Wands. And the Wheel of the Year. Wow. Okay. These definitely reiterate or strengthen or show that you're definitely going to be dealing with some rough times this year. You're going to be dealing with some major changes, some conflicts, some fighting, some change, some movement, a lot of things like that. We have many, many, many cards that show that. There might even be some indecision or some things kind of sticking you in place with the Hanged One here. But it's interesting with that is the Hanged One is stuck. He's definitely in a predicament. He's got a snake around his legs, coming towards him. That's definitely, something, to deal with and maybe not the greatest. But the Hanged One always symbolizes seeing things from a new perspective and getting enlightenment on some things and being able to get out of his predicament. So that's interesting, and that goes with some of these other cards that we'll talk about here in a moment as well. So, okay, you are going to have some roadblocks, you are going to have some changes, you are going to have some challenges, some things dealing with, maybe some rocky stuff going on this year for sure, because, we've got the change card, the 5 is changes, plus we have it doubled up, plus it's conflict cards. We have the Chariot, which is movement, going forward. So we have those cards all there. We also have the Wheel of the Year, which shows fortunes changing around. So a lot of times when people see the Wheel of the Year, they think, oh, it's the Wheel of Fortune. I've got good things coming my way. I'm going to be prosperous and all that. And it can mean that in some readings, and I'm not saying that won't happen, because I do see some good outcomes coming here once you get through a lot of this conflict and road blockages and other things that you're dealing with. But it also means just changing from one thing to another, changing of the seasons, a time for everything, and everything has its time. So basically, right now, early on, especially in the year, I think you guys, it's your time to be dealing with some conflict, some strife, some change, some, that's just kind of what you're having to go through to grow and get bigger and better and grow. And so it's time to do that. But what's nice about the wheel of the year is it does change throughout time, and it does move forward, and it can indicate a shift from one type of fortune to another. Okay, so I think you guys might even be dealing with some quick changes this year, some quick things that kind of throw you for a loop, or but then I think that things can change the other way really quick just as well. So I think you're going to be dealing with a lot of that kind of thing this year, where go one way and then another, and then another, I think you're going to be dealing with a lot of that kind of energy. But in the long run, especially towards the end of the year, once you've dealt with a lot of these problems and conflicts and things that you're dealing with, I think you have some good emotional, stable happiness stuff happening here. We do have the Four of Wands. Fours are a very stable card. They're kind of a foundation card, so I think this will help you build your foundation, which was also kind of represented by this card as well. It was talking about foundation building, and I think that is something that you're going to be doing this year. You're going to be building on your foundation. But you also notice how they're celebratory, they're celebrating, and I do think you will have something to celebrate from all of this going on for sure. Because we do have the Page of Pentacles, which is bringing of good earthly things to you. The Page of Pentacles represents being ambitious, diligent, studious, loyal, grounded, that kind of thing. And this is definitely a time to, be that kind of energy. But then we also have the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups, and those are good emotional energy cards. The Knight helps fight the battles, but he's also coming back with, the spoils of war. And the Cups card deals with our emotions and things that we're wanting to deal with. So by having the Knight and then the King, I feel like the Knight is going to be bringing emotional happiness to the King. I kind of see you guys as being the King of Cups in this reading, or even the Emperor. Kind of both energies going here. But that, once you get through the conflicts and the war and the other things, and you've got your Knight finally bringing you your emotional happiness, that you're going to be on top of it, and you're going to be very wise. You're going to be able to deal with things, better, and be a good advisor and all that. So I think once that happens, once that takes place, you're going to reach that pinnacle. And that was talking about that with the Grand Cross card as well. That, yeah, it deals with, these opposing energies and all these other things, but in the long run, it also leads to something better. And then we also have the Emperor, which, he's on top of it all. He's, got his throne. He's looking out over his, charges and his family and his kingdom and everything. So I really feel like that is where all this is heading to. Okay? Just be on the lookout for quick changes, things popping up in your way that you'll have to block through, fight your way through, work your way through, think of creative ways to get out of, that kind of thing. We also do have the Six of Pentacles, and it's interesting how this specific Six of Pentacles has the scales on it, which kind of show a balance. And so I do think that if you try to stay balanced in your life this year as much as possible, because that might be hard with all of these conflicts and things coming up, that will behoove you in the long run. Kind of just stay the course, and deal with each thing as it comes up, and be aware that it's going to come up. But also the Six of Pentacles shows having, what you need too. So I just think that goes along with you being able to get through these conflicts and get to this state. All right, let's go on to our charms, and we'll see if we can get any other messages or clarification or things that we might do. And then we're also going to do our oracle spheres, so you can be thinking of your yes or no type of question that you want an answer to, and we'll get those here in a minute as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get our charms first and see what information or extra clarification or any other things that might be useful to us here. Okay. That's interesting. Alright. We have lots of different cards that popped out on us here. Wow. Alright. Let's see. We've got a J, an N, and an L. So those might mean something specifically to you. They might be initials or other things like that, or start of a word or something else that came to mind. So you might be able to do that. Now let's look at all these cards we have here. Wow, that's a lot of them. It's almost another tarot reading in of itself. Okay. Alright, let's see here. We have the Five of Cups. We have a couple of aces here, of pentacles. The 5 is another change card, as well as maybe a hardship card or things being difficult. We have the 7 of spades, another change card, also conflict card, also, you know, possibly fighting or dealing with some other things. We do have 2 10s here, which I really like. We have the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Spades. Now, the 10 of Spades sometimes will show, it's depicted by, you know, all the swords sticking out of, you know, somebody's thing and out of their back, and, you know, they've been in a battle, and oh my gosh. I think that might just denote the kind of battles you might be going through this year. But also, I always see hope in that card as well, because the 10s have come to kind of the conclusion. The battles are finally over. They're finally able to move on and that kind of thing. So I really feel like at the conclusion of these battles and these fights and these other things that you are going to finally be able to move on and move forward. We also have the 10 of Clubs, which is the 10 of Wands. And once again, it's another completion energy with the 10s as well. So I just feel like, okay, yeah, you're going to have all these things go on, but you're going to be able to reach that. We have the 9 of Spades. Now, that's, you know, kind of a rough energy as well. It's just more denoting more of the battles and fighting and things that you're going to be doing this year. We do have the 6 of Wands, and the 8 of Cups and the Jack of Cups. And what I like about these Cups cards here, these hearts, is I think it just shows emotional happiness, emotional well-being as time goes on. You know, as you get farther in with these things, that, you know, you're going to learn a lot of stuff. You're going to gain a lot of stuff from that. Okay, so that's kind of been the theme of the whole reading, is that you're going to gain a lot from this. That it's going to be, you know, hard and difficult and a lot of change, but that you're going to gain something from that. And it's interesting, I like the word messages we have here. We have namaste, miracle, and dream. Because it's okay to dream. It's okay to keep dreaming, keep moving forward, keep going on. The Wands cards do show our passions and spirits and things that we might dream about as well. Miracle just shows, whenever miracle shows up, it's something that we did not expect, we didn't think could happen for us, and it does anyway. And I think that's great. That could be some of the big changes that you're going through. You know, not all change is bad. Yeah, you're going to have some conflicts and some fighting and some other things this year. I think that was pretty obvious with, you know, a lot of stuff showing up. But also, it's very possible that some of the changes you're going to be going through are going to be kind of miraculous kind of changes. They're going to be something totally unexpected, but also, you know, something, you know, that's really good. You know, they say stress happens from good stress as well as bad stress. You know, we can have really good things happen to us and be under just as much stress as you know, things that we consider bad as well. So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind too. And then, of course, namaste, I think that kind of goes along with the balance thing. I think getting balance might be really important to you right now, and kind of taking a breath once in a while, knowing that it's only temporary, it's not going to last forever, and that you're going to come out on top in the long run is going to be really important to you this year. And I think that that kind of does that. This card was over here on the edge. It's the Seven of Hearts. Once again, another conflict card. It's the Seven of Cups. You know, dealing with that kind of energy a little bit as well. Okay, we do have a couple of other things here that might be useful to us. Let's see, we've got another few word things here. Let's kind of see. A family's love is forever, which is a great message. It takes a big heart to teach little minds, and live in the moment. Okay, all of those are really interesting little sayings here that might help you through the year some. Live in the moment, I think, might be really important because even if you're going to be dealing with some conflicts and some other stuff, try to enjoy the journey. Try to enjoy each moment as it happens, even the rough stuff, because those things are going to really be helpful to you. And if you can kind of try to enjoy things as you go along and maybe even laugh a few things off here and there that you can, you know, that kind of energy I think would be really helpful to you. It takes a big heart to teach little minds, and a family's love is forever. I think there's going to be a lot of growth in your family this year, a lot of things, and you're going to be, you know, responsible for people learning some lessons. And I think that because you're going through a lot of lesson learning yourself, and so I think you're going to be able to do that. Also rely on your family because they're going to be very helpful to you during all of this. That's, you know, the Emperor kind of denotes that as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. I think that those are kind of useful messages to you there. We do have some other sea stuff. We have the crab and the mermaid, you know, those kinds of, and the octopus. I kind of see these, first of all, when they show up, whenever, you know, the sea creatures underneath the sea, I kind of think of hidden things or things that we're not aware of, or things beneath the surface. So some of that might show up a lot this year. You know, by having the crab and whatever, I think that just kind of shows the conflicts and things that you might be dealing with. The mermaid, I kind of go along with the dream and the miracle, because the mermaid dreamed of becoming human and moving, you know, through. She had to go through some stuff to get there, by the way. She had to go through some things, but it worked out really well for her. If you don't go by the original version anyway, it worked out really well for her in the long run. And then we also have the octopus, which kind of just shows a lot of different things happening and going on at once, you know, going on there. We do have the white rabbit, which I always kind of see as going down the rabbit hole of the unknown, and I think that this year might be a lot of that for you. We also have the salamander, which is another fiery passions. You know, passions are going to be high, fiery things happening this year. So I kind of see that going on as well. We do have the love you. And we had another love message here as well. We had the 4-leaf clover with the love key. So you guys might have some good stuff, you know, be lucky in love this year. Some, and that could be really good, but once again, that could be a big change for you. That could be something that was unexpected. You might get hit almost with Cupid's arrow and go, whoa. So that might be something. We do have the bulldog energy, which I think is really important for you this year, is to not let go of things, because letting go right now might not be the smartest idea. Even when things get really, really hard, have that bulldog energy, because I think that that's really important. Because we also have the globe or the world and the grapes, which the grapes kind of show the abundance and the party atmosphere that you can have, or the reaping of the harvest. And then the world is also having the world kind of in your hands and that kind of thing. So you guys had a lot of charms here, a lot of things going on. I think there were just some extra messages to maybe help you get through the year. So please take some of those messages to heart, because I think they're going to be very, very helpful to you this year. Okay, let's go on to our Oracle spheres. And be thinking of a yes or no type of question that you want an answer to. It could be about your year, or something that you've been thinking about, or that you, or just, you know, it could be a little question, you know, just something that you want an answer to, or that you've been wondering about. And we have 4 different stands that you can choose from here. We have yellow, green, blue, and red. And be thinking of which one you would like your answer to appear on, and we'll get our answers. Okay, number 1, yellow, is a yes. Number 2, green, is a probable. Number 3, blue, is a maybe. Those are interesting answers. They're kind of going downhill. Yes, probable, maybe. And then all the way to a not now. So interesting. Red was a not now. That's not necessarily a no. It just means not right this minute. There might be some other things that need to play out first before that can be answered as a yes or a no. Okay? So there's our answers to that. I hope you guys had some good insight come from this reading. I hope everything works out well for you this year. And I hope you can get through these conflicts and changes. You know, changes can be good. Don't forget that. I think that's really important. If you guys like this reading, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave comments in the comment section. Share this video and the channel with your friends and family. Put it all out there on social media, all the different social medias that you can think of. That would be greatly appreciated. We are not monetized through YouTube, and all of those things that you can do for us will help the channel grow, and we really, 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 really appreciate it. Check out our other videos on the channel. We have lots of different timeless tarot readings out there on lots of different topics that might be interesting to you. We also have flip-throughs of the different tarot decks that you can see what they look like. We have videos on how to read tarot cards. And coming up in the future, we also are going to be having rune readings along with some numerology going along with those readings as well. So those might be something that you might want to check out in the future. So subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of those future videos when they come out as well. We look forward to seeing you in future videos, and may the stars guide your path. Bye-bye.